It was a night that baseball fans across Japan will never forget. The atmosphere in the stadium was already electric, but no one could have predicted what was about to unfold. As Roki Sasaki, the ace pitcher known for his fireball speed and calm expression, stepped onto the mound, even rival fans couldn't help but cheer. From the very first inning, it was clear that something special was in the air. Every movement Sasaki made, from his smooth warm-up pitches to his razor-sharp fastball, drew the eyes of thousands. But beyond his skill, what truly captivated everyone that night was what happened off the mound. The crowd had been warned. This was enemy territory. Yet, surprisingly, Sasaki's charm and calm smile began melting even the most hostile hearts. Fans who had come to boo him suddenly found themselves standing and clapping, their banners turning from taunts to admiration. He wasn't just playing baseball, he was giving a performance, one that combined power, humility, and unexpected fan service. When he turned toward the outfield stands and waved to a young fan holding a homemade sign, the entire stadium erupted. The moment was caught on every camera in the park. Sasaki smiled, pointed gently toward the fan, and tossed a warm-up ball over the net. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't expected. It was real emotion, the kind of raw connection that sports fans live for. Suddenly, the air in the stadium changed. Chants of "Sasaki, Sasaki" echoed through a crowd that just an inning ago had been shouting for his failure. Even the rival team's supporters couldn't resist joining in. As the innings progressed, Sasaki's performance continued to dazzle. His fastballs hit over 160 km per hour, and his forkball seemed to vanish into thin air. Each strikeout was met with cheers that blurred the line between friend and foe. Then came the fifth inning, the moment that defined the night. After striking out a key batter with a blistering pitch, Sasaki looked up at the stands. The cameras zoomed in just as he gave a playful wink and a small wave toward a section of rival fans waving flags. That simple gesture set social media ablaze. Within minutes, the clip was trending nationwide. Tweets poured in, saying things like, "Sasaki's fan service is unreal," and, "Even in enemy territory, he owns the crowd." Local reporters on the scene couldn't believe what they were witnessing. "This isn't just baseball," one said. "It's theater. Sasaki has turned a hostile crowd into his audience." In the dugout, his teammates were laughing and clapping. Even they were surprised by his playful confidence. For a player often seen as stoic and reserved, this was a rare glimpse of his lighter side. But Sasaki wasn't finished. After completing another inning of dominant pitching, he jogged back to the dugout, pausing to sign a ball for a child in the front row, a child wearing the other team's jersey. The crowd went wild. Commentators could only shake their heads in disbelief. "He's doing this in enemy territory," one exclaimed. "That takes guts." The energy inside the stadium was unlike anything seen before. Even neutral fans watching the broadcast felt the surge of emotion. Messages of admiration poured in from around the country, praising Sasaki's sportsmanship and charm. By the seventh inning stretch, the entire stadium had transformed. Rival banners were now mixed with posters cheering for Sasaki. What started as a battleground had turned into a celebration of pure baseball joy. Cameras panned across faces, fans smiling, waving, taking pictures. You could feel it through the screen. Something extraordinary was happening. The announcer's voice trembled slightly as he described the scene. "This," he said, "is the true spirit of baseball. Respect, passion, and connection." In the eighth inning, as Sasaki prepared for his final set of batters, chants erupted again. But this time, they weren't just for his team. They came from both sides of the stands. With every pitch, the cheers grew louder. His final strikeout came with a 161 km per hour fastball that left the batter frozen, and the stadium roaring like a thunderstorm. He turned toward the crowd once more, removing his cap in a gesture of respect. The ovation that followed lasted several minutes. Even the rival team's players nodded in admiration. Some smiled, recognizing that they had just witnessed something special, not just a great pitching performance, but a masterclass in humility and grace. As the game ended, Sasaki's walk back to the dugout felt like a victory parade. Fans leaned over the railings, calling his name, waving, and snapping photos. He responded to several of them with small nods and waves, fan service that felt genuine, not forced. Reporters later revealed that Sasaki stayed after the game to greet local children who had waited outside the stadium gates. He signed caps, gloves, and even rival jerseys. One parent described it as the kind of kindness that makes you forget which team you support. The footage from local news stations quickly went viral. The clip of Sasaki waving to rival fans and smiling at a child circulated across sports networks. Headlines read, "Sasaki wins hearts in enemy territory," and "From rival to hero in one night." Baseball legends and commentators chimed in, praising his maturity. "That's what great players do," one said. "They don't just win games, they win people." The next morning, newspapers across Japan carried photos of that night, Sasaki tipping his cap, fans standing in applause. Even rival city papers gave him credit, writing, "Sasaki showed us what it means to love the game." In interviews afterward, Sasaki remained humble. "I just wanted everyone to enjoy the game," he said softly. "Whether they cheer for us or not, we all love baseball." His words resonated deeply. In a sport often driven by rivalry and emotion, he reminded everyone that respect transcends team colors. Back in his hometown, fans held viewing parties, watching the clips over and over. Many said they had never been prouder of their ace. Even players from the rival team admitted later that the atmosphere had inspired them. "When the crowd started chanting for him, we felt it too," one said. It was powerful. Sasaki's humble actions that night became a story shared by parents, coaches, and young players across Japan. It was used as an example in sports programs, proof that sportsmanship can coexist with competition. Days later, a mural was painted near the stadium depicting Sasaki tipping his cap to the crowd. The caption beneath read, "Respect knows no borders." Social media didn't stop buzzing for weeks. Fans posted selfies from that game, proudly recalling how they had witnessed the moment live. For Sasaki, the night became more than a highlight, it became part of his legacy. He had shown that greatness isn't only measured by speed or strikeouts, but by how one connects with people, even in the most unlikely places. Even months later, whenever fans rewatched that footage, they could still feel the same warmth. The sound of the crowd cheering for a visiting player. The smile that crossed his face. The unity that baseball, at its best, can create. And so, the story of that night, Sasaki's fan service in enemy territory, continues to be told. Not as a tale of rivalry, but as a testament to how one athlete's grace turned an entire stadium into a family, if only for one unforgettable night.